Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, I'm going to be sharing ways that can help you reshape your mindset, help you live with intention, and help you look at the world through a grateful lens. So before we get too far along, I want to remind you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you get notifications when these episodes come out every week. I know Mondays are busy, but my episodes come out early mornings on Mondays. So it's a great reminder. And plus having that notification is accountability, right? It helps you kind of remember that Monday is a day of opportunity. And, we get to control the quality of our day by the quality of our thoughts. So this week, I want to talk about, kind of how to start the week with intention. I'm going to be talking a lot about how to live with intention here, for a while here. And just recently, I've been pouring a lot into it and thinking about getting out of cruise control. And yes, it's easy. And there are times where cruise control is healthier for us than this constant push that sometimes we fall into. So just thinking about, what are a few things that we can do with intention instead of trying to do all the things that you read and hear about or all the things that I talk about. If you just focus on a few things, or maybe even just one thing this week, it may turn out to be a better week than you're already thinking about. As we get started throughout the week, it's important to stop and pause and think about who we're grateful for and how we can show up for them. And those are the first couple of things I do in the morning. And I'm a morning person anyway, so I really kind of stop and pause and remember what are the most important things to myself in my life. I think about those things, but what's the most important thing to me? But also, how can I make a difference in the people's lives that I love and that I'm grateful for? So this week, again, like I said, I want to share some things as we kind of embark on this journey of success or self-discovery, or, even if it's living with intention or looking at the world through a grateful lens, it all starts in our mindset. It starts with intentions and then being willing to kind of adapt and learn. But we have to first be aware, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So understanding, the most important thing to measure our progress and to make a change throughout the week starts with self-awareness. And then we're going to dive into a little bit about curiosity, kind of some growth mindset, and then accountability. Now, accountability not as pressure, but accountability as loving ourselves enough to hold ourselves accountable to get to where we want to go. And then I want to talk about kindness and how we can make kindness not so random. And then empathy, which is all about the connections that we have to the people around us and with ourselves. So let's make this week a transformative week. It starts with our mindset. And so my hope is on this Monday that you are getting the chance, even if you're not listening until Wednesday, right? There's still time. But my goal is to really kind of pour into you and talk to you about some things that I do and that I'll be doing as well this week to make myself a better version of me, so that I can be at my best for the people that I love and the people I'm the most grateful for. So step one, first thought to have this week is self-awareness. Our journey, no matter what it's towards, starts with self-awareness. And, it's really kind of the foundational building block of personal growth. And, this week, I want to challenge you to pause, reflect, and truly understand yourself. Take a breath and remember who you are. Set down those beliefs of who you think you should be or who you could have been or whatever it is. Just stop and pause and think about who you are and the impact that you have on the people that you love, and think about the purpose that you feel every day. What are the things that you're great at? What are your strengths? What are your gifts? And then also, what are some things that you want to work on? I know it sounds counterintuitive to think about this, but what are your blind spots? Ask the people that you're grateful for, and think about, the more you learn about yourself, the more you'll be able to appreciate about yourself and appreciate about others. But, while you think about your weaknesses, people will call them, I like to call them more opportunities for growth. But it's really a matter of understanding how to leverage your strengths, how to do something that you're great at to be able then to improve some of these weaknesses or opportunities. And it kind of becomes a journey focused around purpose. And why does it matter that you work on yourself or why you grow? If it feels like an obligation, start with your mindset. If it feels like an opportunity, start with action. So the next thing I want to think about this week around self-awareness is, what are your passions? What are your dreams? How often do you think about those things? Take a moment, at least while you're driving, while you're sitting at dinner, wherever you are. Take 1 minute to think about your dreams and your passions, and remember who you are, and put down the to-do list and pick up the to-be list. All the things that you already are. Just be more of those things. While you work on your strengths, while you work on your opportunities to get better, just take a minute every day and think about that. And you may find your shoulders kind of relax and your chin picks up, because oftentimes we forget about who we are while we work on who we're becoming. So, take a moment every day to journal your thoughts. Maybe create send some of these things to a friend and tell them that you want to text them. Right now I have a good friend of mine that is texting me his progress on his goals. And I've worked with quite a few other people throughout my life that, they created a text group. They actually called themselves a gratitude gang. So shout out to all of you if you're listening still. And, really they created an accountability group, and each of them would send a text message to each other. I had them kind of really share just a couple of their examples, and it was really empowering to stop and think about what they're grateful for. And even if that's part of your self-awareness work that you want to do, but stopping and thinking about your thoughts and your feelings more often may actually be that catalyst that we need to start to have new thoughts so that we have different feelings. So creating self-awareness is the foundational building block to living with intention. Because if we don't know how we feel or how we think or how we behave now, we won't recognize it when we're doing something new. Remember, no matter where your physical journey takes you, you take the same mindset with you, unless you continue to grow it. So grow your mindset while you work on changing all the external things about your life. So the second thing to focus on this week, again, I'm only going to give you 5, just to hopefully one of them resonates with you. So the second one this week is about being curious. And, curiosity is really the spark, if you will, that ignites innovation and growth. And trust me, I know some of you are thinking, I don't have any time to learn anything new. Well, you're listening to a podcast right now, so you may have the time to do that. So I hope you don't turn this off to listen to something else, but just understand, like, this is an opportunity to learn something new, right? So remain curious about yourself, maybe about what you're capable of, or maybe about the people that you're the most grateful for. Ask some questions. Be more curious about them. Figure out how you can love them and serve them better. So channel your inner curiosity this week and ask more questions. Maybe explore new topics. If there's something that people are talking about that you're unfamiliar with, ask more questions or look it up and try to figure out how you can learn more. And, seek to understand other people's perspectives without being so threatened by it, and understanding that the reasons why we oftentimes get threatened by other people's opinions or thoughts is because we're oftentimes uncertain of ours or how their thought impacts ours. So just finding, remaining curious without being threatened, and, understanding that engaging in these conversations, these little deeper conversations, will challenge some of the assumptions that you're making in life. And, it's a matter of, sometimes curiosity comes in the form of challenging yourself. How much can you do of something this week? And be curious about why. Be curious about why you're doing what you're doing, and stay in this growth mindset of growth and focus on optimism and moving forward. And, embrace kind of this unknown, if you will, and with a spirit of curiosity, of hope, and of optimism. And, new opportunities are going to unfold as you begin to be open to those new things. And so if, you've been wanting to start something new, or you've been curious about how to do something in your life, whether it's start a new diet, write a book, start a business, how to transform your mindset, maybe it's revitalize something about your life. And, just remain curious about that, and kind of set down the pressure and the weight of not doing it up to this point, but remain curious on how maybe you can do it. And, the thing that comes with all of these, right? So this is something that has been very powerful in my life, and it's something I work on every day. It's something I work on with my clients as well. But it's really just about this idea of accountability. So how do you create your own self accountability while encouraging others to be accountable as well? Because oftentimes accountability partners can make somebody feel seen and appreciated, and it is the motivation for them to continue going because they want to tell you how they've been accountable and how you've helped them be accountable. So when somebody feels like they're alone in a journey, just having somebody reach out and say, how you doing on that, can end up being the number one catalyst that actually helps them accomplish whatever goal they have. So really accountability for all of us is the gap or the distance between the goals that we have and the results that we want. The thing that's in the middle, the work that we got to fall in love with, is accountability. So, set clear intentions this week and create some sort of a system of accountability. Again, it could be, a reminder on your phone. It could be texting somebody and saying, hey, let's keep each other accountable. It could be, one of the things that I get to do with the people I'm the most grateful for is we talk about our goals all the time. And I think about, I want to report back the progress I'm making to them on my goals. And I also want to ask about their goals and ask about how I can encourage them and support them and offer resources. And sometimes just that discussion alone helps people be accountable. And so, share your goals with a friend or a family member, somebody that you trust, somebody that you love, and kind of write them down where you think about them all the time. That's another great way to do this. And, so I write my 3-2-1 habit on my bathroom mirror. I also have a big glass kind of board, if you will. It's a piece of glass that I write down my goals for the year based on categories and sections, and I put it in a place that I see it all the time. It's here in my office. So I look all the time at that because it helps me stay focused and helps me remain accountable. And check in daily with yourself, but also with the people that you love on your progress, right? Check on their progress, because when somebody knows that their progress is going to be spoken about, oftentimes they actually care a little bit more about it, which, by being accountable, you kind of take ownership of your own journey, and, and you propel yourself towards the goal that you have. And, these days it's sometimes easy to get isolated and think, well, nobody can see, so what does it matter? But your accountability partners, when they're really there to support you and encourage you because they believe in you, your accountability and your ability to keep the promises that you made to yourself, you will see there will be a tremendous difference. So create some sort of system of accountability for yourself. Now, the next one is going to sound simple, but it's going to be impactful. It's about practicing kindness. Showing kindness without expectation. So kindness has this incredible ripple effect. It's like dropping a stone into water that is still. And, as soon as you drop that stone in there, there's just ripples, right? Because when somebody expresses kindness towards us, we have a natural inclination to express that kindness towards others. And so, it goes beyond just the giver and the receiver, because when you watch somebody show kindness to somebody, it does something to us always. And it makes us feel hopeful. So understanding kindness is not just about the giver and the receiver. It's about everybody who hears about it and sees about it. We all see that when somebody gives a great tip at a restaurant, they share it all over social media, and it just makes us feel good. Or whenever somebody helps somebody else that maybe they don't even know, but they just help because they're a kind person, it makes us feel inspired, because it really helps us remember the people that have been kind to us, but also ways that we can be kind for other people. And so, make a conscious effort to, let's maybe say, make random acts of kindness not so random this week. So, and it could be in a small or in a big or significant way, because I promise you any way is going to be significant, because you never know when that kind word, that kind gesture, or just that kind behavior, whatever it is. It could be a text message. It could be an email. It could just be a look. It could just be a how are you? And sitting with somebody and practicing this sense of kindness and compassion towards them. But it could actually completely change somebody's day, somebody's life, and give them motivation. But kindness builds community. Kindness makes people feel seen. So when you do that without needing validation from somebody else, you just do it because it's who you are. You'll see it'll actually create an incredible ripple effect in your life and in the lives of other people. But really what this does is it also kind of contributes to the world, which inspires us, because we all want to do something significant and something bigger than ourselves. And so when you express kindness because it's who you are, it helps you remember who you are and all of the good that you can do in the world just by you being you. So the last thing I want to talk about is, these days, there's just a lot of people that sometimes feel isolated, or maybe, we assume that they know how much we care about them, and they assume we know how much that we love them. And, it's understanding this idea of empathy. So it's really kind of that secret that everybody knows about that connects us on a deeper level. Okay. So put yourself in somebody else's shoes today or this week, one day this week. Think about how you impact other people's lives. Listen with intention. Okay. Understand other people's perspectives and respond with empathy. This goes back to that listening and being curious, but empathy really builds bridges. Okay. It fosters relationships, fosters understanding, and it strengthens relationships. And, it's really just the sense of togetherness that you'll feel when you intentionally have a moment to where you recognize, I can choose empathy right now. And when you recognize that and you're present enough to where you can choose empathy, you'll start to understand that the connection that you have with other people is always a choice. And, there are times where the way that we need to show love to other people is through empathy. And, there's a lot that happens throughout the week, but we never do it alone. And so, I love the people that I get to spend my life with, and the people that I'm the most grateful for. They give me purpose, and they build connection and make me a better person. And so, it's just maybe this week we take a few more breaths to remember who we are, and think about how we can build more relationships with the people that we love. The more people that we actually need to say, I appreciate you and I'm grateful for you a little bit more often. So, really understanding every week is a new week. Every day is a new day. So, these intentional actions that I've talked about, these 5 things, of which I'll review them here in just a second, but really is kind of it helps us along the path of growth and connection and fulfillment. So again, the 5 things to try to think about, at least one of them throughout the week: creating self-awareness, becoming more curious, create an accountability measure for yourself, practice more kindness, and, actively and intentionally show empathy. So living intentionally, again, it's a part of our own personal growth, but it's also about our contribution back to the world. And so, this idea of living with intention really starts to transform our journey and transform the way that we live our lives. And so, I hope, as I do on every one of these episodes, that something I say resonates with you. Maybe you share this episode with somebody else. And, like I've said, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so that you get notifications when these come out. Maybe that's your accountability measure, is notification. Maybe it's a reminder. Maybe it's a note that you leave to yourself to do something on a daily basis. And because we need mental reminders, and that's why these are so important. I've said a lot of these things before, but we're a new person every week. And so just understanding that sometimes we need to take some of the old lessons we've learned and apply them to the new version of our life. So if you have questions, or if you want to talk a little bit more about this, or if you want to share examples of how you've done one of these 5, reach out to me on social media. I'd love to hear more about how this episode impacted your life and what are some things that you've done throughout the week. And so I'll send a little bit more clips throughout the week so that you can kind of get reminded of this episode. And, I appreciate all the support, and, the listeners are growing every day, and the impact I'm hearing back of how people are taking charge of their life and finding purpose and fulfillment is inspiring. So I appreciate all that feedback. And for you all listening to this and subscribing to it, it means a lot to me and allows me to continue to host this kind of for free on all my platforms, which is great. And, continuing to grow the group of people that are living with intention and trying to make a difference in the world in every way that they can. And so, if you want to reach out to me, you can go to tjsweet.net and you can contact me there, or email me at tj@tjsweet.net. I'm also obviously quick to reply on all social media channels as well. If you just look for tjsweet_, you'll see it. So I'll wrap everything up, and just hoping that you always remember that you always have the choice to live with intention, reshape your mindset, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.